Okie dokie, another try, and this time for the actual show. About 5 minutes ago, I was live to share a sneak peek of this, like the page we're doing. But now I'm going to actually show the collection and do this layout, just checking that everything is okay. So if you can write, if you can hear me and see me, at least there's a heart, so I guess it's a good sign. And sorry about my voice. I have a bit of flu, so I kind of sound like a teenage boy. So sorry about that. Hi, Simona. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Taro. That is Heippa. As always, we have Sharon here to help. So if you have any questions, she'll answer the ones she knows, and she knows a lot. But if there's something you want to ask about kind of my preference or something, I can answer them after the show, because then I'll can hear and see perfect. I can read the chat more after this show. So today we're going to do a simple layout because of the holiday season. I guess we all have things to do. So it's simple and easy. And what also makes it simple and easy is the collection I'm using, and it's one of the new ones. So maybe we'll start with that. But if you tuned in like right away, you saw something like this on the table. And I just want to show it because it also has Prima, as you can see, Prima elements. And there's a YouTube hub going on with a tutorial of the canvas. It's in my YouTube channel, and you can connect to it because I wrote to the description, no, that away, my Facebook page of my blog, so you can find it there. Or here's the information. There's my Instagram handle and my blog name, but I'll add it to the comments section as well. So if you're interested, there's a tutorial video of this, and there's also Karen's project using the same mood board as the source. So lovely Prima girls doing a blog hop with a couple of new ladies as well. So there's a lot of inspiration, but let's start with the page and most importantly, the collection. Again, sorry about my voice. So the collection, sorry, it's called Pretty Pale. And well, when I read the name, it wasn't like that immediately struck a chord with me. But when I saw the papers, oh my gosh, these are gorgeous because they have this kind of collage thing going on. So they are really easy to use in my kind of scrapbooking, where I'm adding layers to the background. Because, for example, this is the sheet I used to make this page. And look, there's a perfect place for the photo already. All the elements in the paper are lined around that central area, and you just put your photo, and it's a gorgeous layout already. I mean, how ingenious is that? Sorry about the direction, but it's easier for me to leave. Like, and there's also flower patterns like this. Oh, like the lands. I'm not sure if they're called lands, but the playing cards. Like there's hearts and spades and cross. Like, oh, so good. And then different kind of florals. Naturally, these are Prima papers, so there has to be florals. And all the colors are these really, really, really lovely, kind of vintage, kind of old paper and tea. So direct to my alley. I love the color scheme also. And these tender little flower bouquets, which you can use just in a card, for example. This is the 12 by 12 pad, but there's also an A4 and then 8 by 8 and 6 by 6, if I can remember correctly. Please say if I'm wrong, Sharon. And then there's just simple lines, but can you see the foiling? every second line has this beautiful kind of copper toned foiling, a bit gold, but I think it's a bit more like copper, so it's a bit warmer. And then just like this notepad kind of thing, which is always good. And I also received some ephemera. So there's the paper ones, again with the florals, some hearts, some inspirational words. Pure joy. Yes, this collection is pure joy. But what's also in the ephemera are these see-through shapes, which you can actually use, for example, on top of photo, and still you can see something coming or peeking through. Or if you do like calendars, they would make a great addition to shaker pages, for example. And whoops, you get them the sorry, right way around. So these are the chipboard shapes. Again, inspirational quotes and butterflies and some florals naturally. So really a great collection. But let's now move on to the layout. It's, like I said, a really simple one. Like some of the elements I use all the time in my creating. And if you're not a scrapbooker, all these things go perfectly to card making as well, or even art journaling. So let's choose a paper first. Like I said, I use this one as it has the perfect placement of the photo here. But this time I think I would try to go with this one. It's a bit different. Let's try it. There's actually maybe kind of a couple of spots. So maybe I should choose 2 photos for this one. Now I can try to see the comments, because if you have opinion, just 1 photo or 2 photos. I just cut the strip off while I wait if you have opinion, so you can decide if I'm doing a 2 photo or 1 photo layout. And the collection is shipping in this month, if I'm correct, during December. But naturally it takes a bit of time to reach your local retailers, but just let them know that you want the collection. So let me see if there's like, nope, not as yet. If there's 1 or 2, 1 photo. Okay, so let me grab a photo then. You could use your own photo, but I love the vintage photos. These are actual vintage photos, but there's also these, which you might like know. These are from Finnabair's ephemera. So if you don't have actual vintage photos, these are like paper, but the photos are actual old photos. What about her? Maybe I'll do her. Oh, now there's a two. There's a dual. 1 or 2, 1 or 2. I think she will go here. Maybe I'll just do 1, because normally my pages are just with 1 photo. So as in this, you can see there's a teeny tiny amount of watercolor. As the paper itself is so gorgeous and also has this kind of layered effect already, we don't want to do much, but a little bit. I simply need to have something of my own in a page. Sometimes more, sometimes less. And you could use actual tea here, but as you can see, the tropical set is my favorite of the Prima watercolor sets. And well, I do love the purple one also in here and the blues, as you can see. But these three make up the perfect tea tone. So if I don't have actual tea at hand, well, I do have here, but it has milk on right now, so I can't use it in scrapbooking at the moment. But I can mix these three, so it's the darkest of the brown ones, and then the kind of sandy tone, and a little hint of orange, and sometimes I even put a bit of red, and I get this kind of tea tone. Just a little touch. As you can see, I kind of go around the edges of the design, like the color would be underneath the paper layers. So it would be something that I've first painted and then added the paper layers on top. And this doesn't look like much, but it gives kind of my own handprint to the page. Sorry. But somebody sometimes asks me how I do watercolor, because there's not these rough edges. And what I noticed then, because I need to actually analyze how I'm doing, as you can see, my brush is almost flat to the surface. It's not like this. I'm not painting in the tip of the brush, but kind of the flat part of the brush. And I wiggle. I do not do just lines, but the brush goes all over the page. So it has this kind of undefined edge, a little bit going on. And what I also use to hide that edge is to do splashes. It's an easy way to kind of merge in what you've already done to the page with just a little splashes. Naturally, if you are more controlled and you don't like the possibility of a splash going into the wrong place, this might not be your thing. But Prima also has like splash stamps, so then you can over with the stamp instead of actually doing splashes. There's just a little teeny tiny bit of color there. Just kind of make it on my own. And then let's really quickly dry it a bit. Just so it doesn't have the water floating around. That's perfect. And then some stamping. I like to use the permanent inks, because if I then do splashes on top or use any kind of wet medium on top, the actual stamping will still stay how it is and doesn't get ruined. So this is Chat Noir, so black permanent ink from Prima. And the stamp is called Lunar and Stellar or something like that. I did put the information to my blog, but sorry, I can't remember the actual name. But I like the teeny tiny letters, and it kind of blends in with the collection. This is a new Finnabar stamp, so like that. Just a little bit of texture in there. And then if you have followed my blog or some other shows I've done, this is something I love to do. Use a simple pencil. And the trick is not to draw. Because if you draw, let me flip this over for a second. If you draw, it's hardly ever going to be perfect. And it kind of, for a second, if you're hesitating, it shows in the line. But if you're just having fun, for example, I'm now looking at the screen and doing. So the line is kind of loose and has a life of its own. And it's kind of just drawing the attention here where I'm going to place my photo, and has that kind of softness to it. Whether if you're just drawing, it shows like you're drawing a line. And something I also like to use underneath photo, kind of building those layers, is washi tape or even just masking tape. It would be easier to use this if I could find the end. There it is. And again, I chose tapes. These are from previous collections that kind of match the tea tones of the page and the Pretty Pale collection, and kind of have the vintage vibe. So everything kind of blends in, goes together. Naturally, if you want more color, you can add, instead of the tea color I added here, you can add teal or red or whatever, because the soft neutral tones work with kind of whatever you want to place on top. This is going to be a bit of a vintage layout. Maybe just one, because this pattern is so much bolder. Just a little bit of there. Here we go. Couple of washi. And then we need to do the paper layers. Just a couple of layers underneath the photo, and these are handy. These are the vintage alphabet cards for backing the photo. And also, you remember the florals? So I cut some of the florals loose from the 12 by 12, and I can layer them behind my photo. Maybe just two. I think that's too much if I use more. And then we need some other paper. Well, that would go the other side of the floral. Or then that one. Maybe that side, like the numbers. So here I'm trying not to hide the background that much. I'm just adding a few layers behind the photo, kind of getting that layered look, but trying to avoid huge bulk, because the background treatment I did, it's so close to the photo. So I kind of worked around such a small area. So if I'm going to put now a big cluster of papers on top, then all the background is getting lost. So then this one here, kind of echoing that part of the paper, just a bit of the numbers showing. It's kind of basic composition. If I add something on this side, it's kind of easy to add it on the other side as well to make the composition really balanced. Maybe there, kind of backing the floral. It's now getting too big. Maybe a little, just a little tighter. And this is the way I normally do my paper layers. I'm just squeezing everything in my hand. Like that. And then when I'm done, I just try to carefully remove the photo on top. Oops, now they're going all places. And then, sorry, let's move that for a second, then add it in. And then I use a stapler to get the layers attached. So even if I then want to tuck something underneath, it's pretty easy because not all the layers are solidly stuck together. So if you use double-sided tape, my kind of hint is not to add the tape just in here, but even like a 1/2 centimeter. So if you want to then tuck something underneath, you can cut it like the 1/2 centimeter, and it looks like it's underneath all the layers, even though it's just hanging by a thread in a way. So then we have the photo and the layers underneath it. And then another kind of quick trick. You can use these adhesive foam thingies. And I use them in my photo now for a reason. And this is also handy. I bet you get packages around holiday times or whatever time. So spare a few pieces and then you can use those instead of the foam dots. So just something to get the dimensional look. So this is really handy. Just a bit of glue and a piece of packaging. And you can get a dimensional look to your project. And if you use a strong glue or gel medium from Finnabair line, it will stay. No worries. And this will come here, but as it's easier to do the embellishment part, try it here. The pearls I don't have to kind of go through the photo. So let's do that now. And as you can see, some of the pearls are loose and I glued just some of them down and then stapled the thread. So, oops, sorry. That one, then I need the needle. And hopefully this, yeah, perfect. And then the pearls, they are from the Memory Hardware series, Frank's Pearls. So just a selection of, and again, everything goes together because I think these pearls have the perfect color palette to this collection. There's the pearly ones and then these kinds of a touch of gold in them that go so great to the tea tones. And as you can see, I'm not thinking that far ahead. I'm just adding some of the pearls here. Just trying that there's a mix. Oops, I can't get it through. Here we go. Mix of the bigger ones, smaller ones, and also the different colors. This is not going to go through. Let's try another one. Here we go. Let's see, we're going to need much on this side and then maybe just a couple there. And maybe just like the small ones there. Like that. Nope. Again, not going through. Let's use another one. I should have added a thinner needle. No, perfect. So as this side is going to be trickier, let's do that first. And again, I'm using the handy tool, the special handy tool called stapler. There. Now we have it here. Then let's move the 3 we're going to put on this side. Then let's get the photo. Now that I'm doing it like this, adding the photo after the pearls, it could have been also a piece of the cardboard box, because then I could just glue it on top of the thread. But like this, it's then easier to move if I need to move the pearls or the thread afterwards. Then maybe I'll put a couple of here, and then they're running here, somewhat on a straight line. Again, maybe just one more, a bit further down. Here we go. And if it's too loose, I can now kind of make it a bit wherever I want to place it, a bit downwards. So it's going to be somewhat straight line. Here we go. And then let's glue some of the pearls in place. This layout is actually then heading tomorrow morning. I'm taking it to the post office, and it starts its way to the USA and to Creativation. So if you're going to Creativation and going to Prima's booth, naturally you're going to Prima's booth. If you're going to Creativation, then you're going to maybe see this if they choose to show it there. So now we have great many elements already. Just these a couple of stamped items here, and then finishing touches. So like I said, it's a simple, easy page, really quick, and you can use the same ideas like the watercolor, the stamping in your own way if you're doing art journal or cards. Oh, by the way, if you have any preference, if you would like to see more cards or whatever, just leave a comment, and I'm happy to do my January show on another topic. Or if you want to see more mixed media layouts, I'm fine with that as well. Just let us know. We'll be happy to deliver. So I'm now using, again, one of the new Finnabair stamps. And this is just craft cardstock, just a little piece, but still I managed to do 2 butterflies on top of it. And this one is then just white cardstock, or kind of greeny. A couple of butterflies there. And then I used Live Inspired in the other one. Let's use the You Are Enough in this one. Let's try to get it straight. And as you can see, I rarely use like a acrylic block when I'm stamping. I like the kind of freedom in here when I'm actually trying to get a whole butterfly. It would be handy to have, but especially when I'm doing a background, it's easier to not have an acrylic block to kind of hinder me, and I can just move that stamp the way I want. So again, if you have any questions, please just ask, and Sharon will help, and I'll answer all the questions after the show. Ja koska on jotain suomalaisiakin katsomassa, toivottavasti, kiitos vielä, niin voi tosiaan suomeksi kirjoittaa. Vastaan sitten, kun ollaan saatu sivu valmiiksi, niin vastailen kaikkiin kysymyksiin. just a few words in Finnish, because I noticed that there's some Finnish viewers. Yay! And again, I'm apologizing about my voice. If you're just tuning in, I have a flu and I sound a bit strange. Not just because of my accent, because I'm not native. Finnish is my mother tongue, but because of the flu as well. So I'm cutting the butterflies like more a bit intricate, and they're saying just like in a block. And if you don't have a saying stamps, you can use your own handwriting, or old books are perfect. They are what I now use as a jumping off point every now and then. Catch a phrase from an old book and then create a journal page or layout or a set of ATCs, for example, with them. Then let's do the butterflies. Is there, which one? No, that one is going to too much blend in with the leaves. Yep. And a rule of thirds or 3. There's 1 through 3 butterflies, not just 2, but 3. Here and there, and then that one. The same to the photo. What a wonderful phrase that is. You are enough. Then a paper clip, which is kind of my signature. I love paper clips, as you can see. It's also the name of my blog in Finnish, Paperiliitin, which means paperclip. And then just final element. As you can see, we have done the background, the pencil swirls, the stamping, the little stamp details, the threading. I thought it would be a fun thing to use the pearls like this. It may be a different way for you, I'm not sure if it is, but a bit differently. And then just the vintage pebbles. I love these. I love the original melange pebbles, and I love these even more. I guess this is my tea tone face because I am really drawn to tea colors at the moment. And there's a huge section of the page where I'm doing nothing because the paper is doing all by itself. It doesn't need anything extra. And also, even if there wouldn't be the pattern so striking as that one, then I think a page or any creation needs some place to breathe. There's like for something to eye to rest. So I'm again concentrating the embellishments, the last embellishments, the vintage pebbles around the photo area. Maybe like that. And then just let's glue them down. And it's going to be done soon. In about 30 minutes and the page is done. So, like I said, an easy page just to kind of get you creating, because you know the Finnabare's new line, it's called Art Daily. So, and I feel that inspiration and creating is something you need to do on daily, or if not daily, at least on a weekly basis, because the more you use your imagination and are using inspiration, the more you have, because, well, and also the process of creating is so much easier if you're doing it constantly rather than if you're doing it occasionally. So during the holiday season, give yourself like some slack and break, and maybe not do like the big canvas projects. These are maybe for another time, but do something really simple. Just have fun with watercolors, or create a little card or a tag, or then try to think of a project more like a Christmas calendar, as my friend is doing, a very marvelous mixed media Christmas calendar, 1 layer per day. Like, you don't have to do the whole project at once, but just teeny tiny touches, and that's kind of keeping you creating even through like stressful times, or like when you're trying to find time to creating. But thank you so much for tuning in today. It means a lot. And if you have any questions, just write them there. And thank you so much, Sharon, for helping me out. And well, I'll see you in January. So even though it's the start of the month, then I'm going to wish you all a really happy holidays and peaceful times, and well, a happy new year as well. So thank you for tuning in. This was Riikka Kovasin from Finland, doing a easy peasy layout using the Pale collection, Pretty Pale, which is shipping now. So thank you. Bye.